Oh, oh.
You know,
You got some mix and blend going on there.
yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying to get him to do. I was trying to get him to do a song all the time I've lived in Germany, and the first time he hears this song, wants to do a track over it, man. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
Let him, man. Let him.
All right. Go ahead, Butch. Take it away.
Is that?
Speechless.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't know if this push goes in Butch's direction, you know what I mean? It's probably a bit too electronic, innit? It's too electronic for Butch, I think.
Nah,
No.
man. I reckon.
No,
Butch would sound nice over.
it's just, dude. That's my shit right there.
Really?
You know, the thing, I was just trying to listen to it because it sounds like something I could put a nice hook to in a hurry.
You could ride that like a horse, brother. Listen, man, I know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, you're coming
Absolutely.
like I don't know if you heard of a guy called Cleveland Watkins. He used to ride drum and bass tunes and like saying kind of like, harmonizing and like singing, not MCing, singing. And he used to blend up with them tunes. Beautiful, man. I could imagine that you'd be the same. I imagine.
Oh, absolutely. That's where, like if, say for instance, a producer sends me a track, before I come up with words, I've already got a melody and I've got harmonies, and if I get a loop station, be harmonizing with myself and shit, yeah, man.
Same.
I'm trying to
give him the track, Wayne. Make him ride the track.
I'll send you the track, man. Why not, man? I'll send it to you, man.
Yeah,
ride it.
Probably have it done in like 10 minutes. Marcus Wyatt, man. There was a DJ called Marcus Wyatt. He had some tough tracks, man, which are house types. What I want to say, you know what I realize, man? Good that I got Butch here, actually. He's a good person to have, man. Slavery didn't really change, man. I've been listening to the British slavery, and I realized that, like obviously everyone's got like old money. When we talk about old money, these guys acquired their wealth through slavery. We was worth so much money, man. Slaves. You could buy them and sell them, and that was the real first drug dealing or human trafficking was slavery. And anyone like who accumulated loads of wealth back in the day was through slavery. And cotton, obviously, they were the two things, man. You saw cotton and slaves, you'd be millionaire. And these people now are rich today from like back in the past are the guys who had the most slaves. That's what I believe, man, firmly.
Well, also there's a lot of wealth that was accumulated in the States because they actually, the slaves actually built the infrastructure for free.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing, isn't it?
I mean, if you had to pay people to do that kind of labor, if you had to pay people to work on your farms, work on your plantations, I mean, you spend $300 or $400 on a slave, right? And you work him for 20, 30, 40, 50 years until he's dead.
Yeah.
Just think. I mean, there's no retirement. There's no pension. You just work till you die.
Retirement is definite.
Yeah.
And a lot of wealth's been built off the back of slavery. I mean, even now, I believe that the British government is still paying families of slave owners for the fact that their slave businesses were ruined because Britain says no more, and there's people who are still receiving money now, which I think is weird. I think it's wrong. I think it's
kind of like a slap in the face of the ancestors of the slaves, because how about compensating the descendants of the slaves for the dysfunctionality and I mean, look at the shit that's going on in America. You got the systemic racism that still exists, you know, and you've got a situation where they basically destroyed the structure of the black family.
Yeah.
You know, and
Sure.
and then they perpetuate that with the welfare system because it's like, I mean, they say shit like we're going to, like, through affirmative action and through quota system, we're going to take care of these poor black people. You know, it's like, no, I don't need you to take care of me. I need you to get out of the fucking way so I can take care of myself. You know, I'll give you an example. A situation that exists in America. You have women that are on welfare, right? They pay. The more children you have, the more money you get from welfare.
Yeah.
Right. And if you go out and get a job, right, it's probably going to be a minimum wage job, and you can't pay your bills with that money, but they take away whatever little bit of money that you earn, they deduct it from your welfare benefit. And if for some reason the father of your child decides he wants to move in and help you, then they take away your welfare. So in other words, you are penalized for trying to improve your situation. They want you dependent on welfare.
Yeah. It's the same in England, isn't it, Nigel? It's the same thing, isn't it?
You'll find it's the same in every country. The thing is, there's only one way that can solve it, and that has got to be a living wage, which a proper wage, what people need really to live. You know, you need £2,000 a month. You need £15, £20 an hour with a 40-hour week. And employers ain't paying that. You know, they're screwing about paying £8.51. You know, but if I was employing someone, I'd also look at that price and think, why? I want every last ounce of £8.51 I can get out of that person. So it's capitalism, man, unfortunately. And people of colour.
The thing of it is I think the difference between is something like working with. I've worked with a bunch of Arab people. I've worked with a bunch of Jewish people. I've worked with a bunch of Greek people, you know, and the mentality is just totally different. It's like when say for instance, when we get out of college, you know, we look for a job.
Yeah.
When they get out of college, they start a fucking business.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. Isn't businesses, the fact that we don't have businesses among the black folks? Like, for example, I remember a few years ago, I wanted to start two types of businesses. I wanted to start a bank, which I know for a fact the cartel wouldn't let me, and I wanted to start an insurance business. Now I knew I had 100% clear way how I could get everybody to come to my insurance company. And what I was going to do is offer the people their money back if they didn't have an accident. Not all of it, but maybe like say 50% of it. So if you didn't have an accident one year, now people would say, oh yeah, but what about your premiums and et cetera, et cetera. But I was like, yeah, but I think we could afford it. I think insurance companies make so much profit every year. They could pay people back. You know what I mean? Okay, I'd have to find out.
You do have certain insurance companies that have businesses like that. It's called term insurance. It's like your insurance premiums are an investment, and if you go for so long without it's also like a savings account.
Yeah.
You know, like when you I used to sell insurance, man, and we would sell term insurance. It's like, say for instance, this policy, like you have some people, they just paying into a policy forever, and then if you die, then your family gets the money.
Yeah.
Right. Well, if we sell you term life, that means the term of your policy is 20 years, 25 years,
That's
30
too
years.
long, though, man. Wouldn't it be better yearly,
But
like an annual?
wait a minute. Think about it. It's the same thing like if you buy a house. You know, you're paying a mortgage for 20 years, 30 years, and at the end of 30 years, you own a house.
Yeah.
Well, if I sell you term life insurance at the end of the term of the contract,
the end of your life.
No. Term insurance means that we're insuring you for the term of the policy,
Okay.
which could be 15 years, 20 years, whatever we negotiate. And that money is going into an interest-bearing account, and that money is accumulating over the term of the policy. If at the end of the term of the policy you decide to cash out, you can cash out. And your money has been earning interest. We've been investing that money, so we've been making money off of your money as well.
Yeah.
You know,
that's pretty much how a bank works.
And at the end of the term of the policy, you get to take your money out, and also you can borrow against that money. Say, for instance, if the term of your insurance policy hasn't expired yet, but you get into dire financial straits and you need that money, you've got all that equity built up in this policy that you can borrow against.
Yeah. But what about my idea about a bank though, man? How would that work? Because look, if I went to, like, let's say, I wouldn't even know how it would start, but let's say I went to let's say them. I went to them and said, look, I want to open a bank. What kind of obstacles do you think I'll face? Because I'm pretty sure they'd be like, wow, you know, you're going to need this much money. You're going to need this much money. But I'm like, hold on a minute.
I'll tell you what obstacle you'll face.
All right.
How do you guarantee the money?
The thing is, you know, that's the thing. Like, if I offered a bank with favorable terms and say I had like some
So how would you get, so someone comes in and puts £50,000 in your bank. How do you guarantee they can take their £50,000 out in 6 months?
I just be like, it's just in a holding. It's in a holding. You can take it back out in 60 months. I wouldn't use it. But then,
what the problem with banks is the banks speculate. Okay, that's what banks do. They take your money and they invest it, and they make profits off the investment. They also will take the $10,000 that you give them, and they will loan that money out to other people with interest.
It's
your money. It's your money. But wait a minute. What a bank will do is they'll take $1,000 that that somebody puts into a policy, and they will loan that money out to somebody else, and they'll loan that money out. They'll loan that $1,000 out to 100 people.
Yeah.
$1,000, right? So what they've basically done is they've made $100,000 on your money.
Yeah. So couldn't I use
what I mean?
Couldn't I use that system too, basically, to, like Nigel was saying, how would I promise or, you know, secure their funds?
But the thing of it is, you have to get accredited by the government.
And that's
the problem.
See, that's the catch.
Infrastructure.
That's what I want to hear.
Infrastructure.
And the government, like, say, for instance, in America, the government will guarantee your bank.
Yeah, but would they, if they saw me coming with my dreadlocks, would they be like, yeah, we trust this guy?
The only way to get the government to give you a charter so you can open a bank is that you are sitting on such a shit ton of money that they know that you're not a bad risk.
Yeah.
See, there we are. See, that's the thing. See, now I got a good credit.
Hell, if it wasn't difficult, then every jackleg motherfucker in the world would say, hey, I'm going to start a bank. Bring me your money.
See, there's a thing, and that's leading into the thing I wanted to talk about. Now, people always say, like Kanye West said recently, it was black people, they choose to stay in the poverty, and a lot of people, obviously, from the right or whatever.
Kanye West, man, don't quote Kanye West.
He's a fool.
He's a fucking idiot.
But they're saying that we don't make any effort, and that we didn't give anybody jobs because, you know, anyone who got like anything was from the them. Let's say them. I'm not even going to say who it is, but anything we get, black people, was from them. But the reason why we can't start our own stuff is because we have to go through them to start it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, hold on a second. How am I going to start something when, even though they're trying to say
what do you mean by start something?
Like, for example, if I wanted to start a bank, now someone started a bank.
But the thing is, though, starting a bank ain't as simple as saying, oh, I want to start a bank. Think of what you're actually saying. Think of what you're actually saying. No, think of what you're saying. Think of the banks in Germany and look at them and just think, okay, how would I start one of these? And think of what you're saying. It's got nothing to do with colour or anything else. Think of what you're saying. Do you know 10 investors? You've got £10 million to invest in your bank to get you started.
£10 million. See, this is what
each,
I'm talking about.
£10 million, £10 million each to invest.
100 million.
You know,
100 million.
Well, that's the thing. You're talking about an institution. How can you just rock up and say, "Yeah, I want to start a bank"? That doesn't make logical sense.
Yeah, I think I would never.
Even the Rothschilds, the wealthiest family on the planet, the Rothschilds. Okay, the way this guy started his banking is it was, as a matter of fact, it was in the Judengasse right here in Frankfurt where I live. You know,
okay.
It was 16 kilometers from here. And back in the day, the money for offerings in the synagogue, in the Jewish temple, the only acceptable money was Israeli shekels, you know.
Okay.
And he brought a shit ton of shekels over here from Israel or wherever the hell he got them from. And when people wanted to go to the temple and make their offerings, they would bring him their Reichsmarks, you know, and he would give them shekels. And he accumulated a lot of wealth. He accumulated so much wealth that he sent his 5 sons out to France, to England, to Italy, to Netherlands, and to America to start banks. And he invented the fractional banking system where, say for instance, if somebody brings $1,000 to the bank, he can loan that $1,000 out to 100 people or 1,000 people or whatever, you know. And all of those people that money only exists on paper, by the way. It doesn't really exist. But he guarantees that money. You know, if something happens, say for instance, the economy falls through the toilet, you know, that money has to be guaranteed. So if all these people come to the bank all of a sudden and say, hey, I want my money.
Yeah, a bank run.
You know, if there's a run on the bank. So he was able to guarantee that he had the assets to cover in case there was a loss. But this guy, one of the things he said back in the day, to give you an idea of how much money this guy had, he used to loan the money. He loaned money to kings.
He loaned money for war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every war that's ever happened, they had to go to him to loan money from him, or from the Rothschild Bank, you know what I mean, the World Bank. So
absolutely,
you know, he's funded war, he's funded death, he's funded the on both sides.
One of his most famous quotes was, "If you give me control over a nation's wealth, it doesn't make any difference who makes their laws."
Yeah, that's it.
You know. Yeah, and that's basically what's going on in the world today. I mean, look at America. You've got a bunch of billionaires that are they're saying fuck your Constitution. We want to win this election. So and because of this Corona shit, the only way